Imagine buying a massive $500 million company without spending a single dime of your own money. Then, tomorrow, you fire 4,000 people strictly to pay off the loan you used to buy them. Most of us assume that extreme wealth comes from creating something valuable. We picture inventors designing usable products or founders building essential services that people actually want to buy. There is a shadow economy operating right out in the open, where tearing a business apart generates cash much faster than building one. The entities running this system are corporate raiders and private equity firms. Private equity is an investment model where specialized firms pool money from large investors to buy, restructure, and eventually sell private companies. Inside the modern financial machine, there is a hidden, highly efficient gear designed exclusively to dismantle healthy businesses for personal profit. The playbook begins with finding a target, a steady, cash-generating business operating normally, but with room to be squeezed for higher margins. In a leveraged buyout, a buyer purchases a company using a tiny fraction of their equity and massive debt. The target company's cash flow then carries the load, draining operational profits to repay the acquisition loan. You own the business in its entirety, but the company itself is the entity that actually owes the bank. Once the papers are signed and the massive loan payments become due, you transition into the optimization phase. You evaluate the company's operations purely as cold, sterile spreadsheet line items. When analyzing a workforce through a spreadsheet, individual employees represent fixed percentages of departmental overhead. Karen from accounting is viewed as a line item that can be removed to immediately increase the available cash for debt servicing. You initiate 10,000 layoffs, begin selling corporate real estate, down to the office furniture, strictly to generate quick cash to service your new debt. Under this heavy debt burden, daily operations shift away from innovating products. Its sole purpose becomes surviving its own balance sheet. Trimming overhead and liquidating assets pays the bank, but it doesn't generate billion-dollar payouts for the owners. In 2010, private equity firms bought the hospital chain HCA. Their subsequent actions provide a perfect blueprint for extracting that level of wealth. Next, the private equity owners forced the already indebted hospital to borrow billions in new loans. The cash from this massive debt bypasses operations entirely, wired directly into the personal accounts of the owners. Lenders approve these secondary loans because an operation like a massive hospital chain generates a highly predictable, steady flow of cash from patients, giving the banks confidence that the debt will eventually be serviced. This mechanism is called a dividend recapitalization. It is a financial maneuver where a company takes on new debt simply to pay a special, giant cash dividend to its private owners, leaving the company to carry the financial risk. Eventually, the corporate raider wants to cash out entirely and walk away from the heavily indebted asset. They take the hollowed-out shell of the company and list it back on the public stock exchanges, selling the remaining shares to regular retail investors. This dual-line graph shows the final financial outcomes. The raider's very small initial equity stake has multiplied into an absolute fortune, while the target company's available cash plummets. The target company is left crippled by the artificial weight of the LBO debt, frequently teetering toward bankruptcy as it struggles to pay back loans that yielded it no operational benefit. This playbook exposes a specific, highly optimized sector of finance, where the goal is not to expand the real economy, but to harvest it. It proves that within these specialized structures, the most efficient way to generate wealth is to systematically extract it from existing businesses.